This is RPGs and their storylines. It's presented by www.original-gamer.com. Just pimp my site a little bit. This discussion we're going to start with is...
Well, the purpose of this is to talk about RPGs, because obviously if you guys were here, you actually like them, and probably want to talk about them. So we're going to bounce a few questions off of you guys, and see how you guys feel about stuff. And I just want to lay down a few ground rules. We all have different interests. I probably have very different interests from all of you. So just try not to be rude and mean, and if someone's talking and they mention like a game you don't really like, try not to trash them, because we want to have fun. We want this to be a good panel.
Respect our authority.
Yeah, yes, exactly. So I think Oliver's going to... Oh, I'm Mike, by the way.
And I'm Oliver.
Yeah, so Oliver's going to lead us off with the first question.
What I'd like to start with is the story of Chrono Cross. The game Chrono Trigger was always kind of funny because it basically assumed that the good guys, whatever they did, should automatically be considered a good thing. Damn the consequences of whatever else happened. I happen to believe that Chrono Cross is a superior game simply because it questions the idea of a good guy doing good for the good of others. It also deals with the nature of time paradoxes and what can happen with the very same actions that Chrono simply does because he thinks he's helping others. If you remember the Dark Moon in the game, it appears simply out of nowhere, and yet it was always there. And that's all about how you can just screw everything up. The basic point of it is that I think they were trying to do it on purpose. Like the first game, nice, simple, standard chivalry for knights, if you will. And this game, Chrono Cross, was just so much more nuanced. And I sometimes wonder if people didn't understand it, as the scenario writer Masato Kato even believed that due to the negative reaction to the game, people said he's not sure they actually knew what his intentions were with Chrono Trigger, because a lot of people did not like the fate of the characters Chrono, Marl, and Luca.
And Robo. You know, it's actually something that you kind of referenced to. You said that in Chrono Cross, but in Chrono Trigger, the court case scene, remember when Chrono's put on trial for doing all that bad stuff at the fair? I thought that kind of led into that with the whole morality thing, how, like, oh, you didn't look for this guy's cat. I mean, if you didn't. I mean, I didn't, because I was like 12 when I played the game. So, and he gets like punished for all the stuff that you think you were just doing a normal thing. Like, you're like, oh, there's lunch, I'll just take it. You know, it's a video game, it doesn't matter. But it was like one of the first games that made you like, that questioned that sense of morality where it's like, no, you can't just take stuff. That's someone else's thing. That's someone else's lunch. And why don't you help this guy look for his cat? Mm-hmm. So I guess what we're asking is like, what do you guys think of like the linearity of like morality, I guess? Has there been any moments in RPGs where you feel like a character should have been punished from something they did that they thought was completely genuine? Like, all right. I was waiting for that. And you?
Tales of Symphonia, as everyone here played it, Tales of Symphonia.
Good game.
You get to
Good.
Tetagala, and you're in Tokyo, and you have to make that really important choice when you're in the king's court. I don't remember exactly what it is, but it's pretty much save the world or save the religion.
Was that the one, because is that before you find out, spoiler alert? No, not you. You said you did fine, but is that before you find out that Tetheala and Silverant have that fun relationship? That's after that? So pretty much the choice between saving your world and damning another one. Okay, that's actually a really good one. And I believe you with the glasses? The sunglasses.
Step up. Let yourself be heard.
Are we including Western MMOs?
Yes, we can certainly try. We're including all kind of RPGs. I mean, I am wearing a Pokemon outfit, so that also technically counts.
We have our
If anyone wants to discuss Pokemon, that's cool.
I actually picked this book up the other day. It's the Philosophy of World of Warcraft. And it actually has a lot of good examples of exactly what you're asking.
Really?
For example, I don't know who plays Warcraft in here, but when you get to Northrend itself, you start at either Borean or Howling Fjord. If you go to Borean, what you do in one of the quest chains is you capture a mage, and then you are asked to question the mage. But, you know, just like in every action movie, you gotta beat him up to get the question.
Of course. What's a good interrogation without a pistol whipping?
Well, yeah, pretty much. And you know, the guy that gives you the quest is like, oh, well, I'm going to stand over here, and whatever you choose to do is, you know, your choice. But you don't have the option to say no. And then you like, you know, the author goes on to say, well, is it really that big of a deal that you have to torture him? Because you just killed 20 or so of his, you know, human buddies to get a key.
Well, they were obviously bad people.
Yeah. But
And justifies the means.
Although there's respawn.
Yeah, right. See, there's an infinite amount.
And exactly, he goes in to talk about all that, but it makes you question your morality and if it really matters. Because say you torture this guy and he just ends up, he respawns anyway. So the next character that comes along, it has no effect on you as a player. And I mean, it really changes who you are in real life compared to who you are when you play video games.
I'm really glad you brought up that point because I was hoping for a segue to lead into this next question. Actually, you know, I'm gonna you right there. Yes, you.
This is an RPG. It's a first-person shooter. Sorry. This game I'm thinking of, it's not even an RPG. It's a first-person shooter, and actually, it's the first one that actually mentions this as a reality. Respawn. It's a sci-fi setting that actually has respawning. One of the universe actually has respawning as a reality in that universe. When you die, it's not just, you know, it's not just like, okay, you're back in the level. You are a clone of yourself. That universe actually, they keep cloning these prisoners and keep fighting. And that kind of raises interesting little questions when you consider the fact that, well, what death means.
I like that.
You to a person. What is that person's prison sentence when he can die infinite number of times?
What is the name of that game?
Unreal Tournament.
Oh, the Tournament, yes.
Yeah,
Feel free to.
it's something that's completely passed over.
Feel free if like something from another genre pops up that you think relates to our discussion. Completely feel free because we're kind of open-ended about this. But that's really interesting because just like, oh well, I'm just gonna pop him and he's gonna come back. Like it makes you really wonder like, what's the consequences of me doing this? I mean, if he's coming back, like there's some kind of long-term psychological things right there.
And for prisoners, that's especially cruel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he gets back, so he gets another meal. So, you with the hat. Yes.
We're talking about morality. I think one of the most interesting factors that we as gamers should consider is how, from an early age, our earliest RPGs, we're sort of unintentionally taught that you have to kill in order to get stronger. You have to murder.
How else are you going to get experience?
And it's something actually in Lufia 2. It's the main character Maxim is a monster hunter, and it's his profession. It's his job to go out, kill these monsters, and of course by the end, he's saving the world, blah blah blah. But we as gamers, I mean, the first thing you associate with is I have to get stronger. How do I get stronger? I kill the innocent life of this world. It may be trying to kill me, not the point. You're still this sort of issue of how can I go about, how can I become better at killing in order to become the strongest so I can kill more?
So you're saying that RPGs as a general rule sometimes kind of condition us to think that the only way we can get better is by slaughtering things.
So what I'm saying is unintentionally they're sort of setting this level of how can you determine your strength, how can you determine your worth by how well you can kill something. And that's why I think Harvest Moon is interesting too. I don't know if anyone here has played Harvest Moon, but
So glad you mentioned that.
I have too.
when that game first came out, it was sort of like a reality check. By the way, you can play an RPG, but you don't have to kill. And it sort of changed the way that all of a sudden RPG...
You kind of use that hoe pretty violently to, till the soil.
And you're really good at throwing your stuff.
Yeah.
And it sort of changed the way that RPG stopped being about, be the warrior, kill everything, become the strongest you can be, to play the role, play the character, interact. You are playing as this person. Play the story. Don't just kill it.
And your goal is to like have a family and prosper versus, save the world. Oh yeah, make money, to have a couple cows. That's a good point though. All right, hold on. You.